Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Thursday the 19th of March and I'm here to talk about the coronavirus once again. I can't believe it. Yesterday I said that it was just under 2,100 cases and today I'm looking at the numbers and it's like 219,357 cases as of recording the video. Up-to-date numbers I'll put on the screen. Anyway, that's crazy. 8,970 deaths and the rate of infection is still going up worldwide. As in, it's not just steadily going up as it was before, it is shooting up exponentially. It's crazy. We need to do something to contain this virus ASAP. The big numbers from yesterday: Italy had 4,207 new cases. I think that is their highest number of cases on a single day, as well as the highest number of deaths recorded from this coronavirus started back in November last year. The highest number of deaths in one single day from Italy at 475 recorded deaths. That's a lot of people. Which really starts to throw into question, you know, how has China managed to get away with 80,000 plus infections and only 3,000 deaths when Italy's here with 2,978 deaths from 35,000 cases. So the death rate in Italy seems to be really high. Germany and Spain added almost 3,000 cases each yesterday. 2,960 in Germany and 2,920 in Spain. The USA now adding 1,608 cases yesterday. France adding 1,404 cases. Iran adding 1,192 new cases. And the UK with its highest so far in a single day at 676 new cases. And also the highest deaths so far in a single day in the UK at 33 deaths. So the UK needs to get a move on in containing this virus. I'm going to talk a lot about the UK today. COVID-19 in Italy has infected twice the number of medical workers as it did in China, so far infecting 2,629 health workers, or 8.3%, which is really high. In one region of Lombardy, the first place to be locked down, 20% of family doctors have been infected with the coronavirus, which is really scary. So people, get your protective gear on, you know? I know they still are going on about face masks don't work, but it's the least you can do, right? What else are you gonna do to protect yourself? Wear a face mask, wear gloves if possible, and keep washing your hands like they say. When you go outside and you come back inside, change all your clothes, have a shower if you can. Just because this virus can live on surfaces and you don't want to be taking the virus from outside where you may not have been infected to take it back home and then you're in your own home getting infected from your own surfaces around your home. So have a shower, wash your clothes. Let's change our hygiene habits. This virus is going to keep spreading otherwise. The USA and Canada's border has finally been closed. Even though Trump said before that the US and Canada had strong economic ties and they wouldn't do this, it's finally been decided that the border should close as a way to help contain the virus. Hubei province in China has recorded 0 new cases. The WHO has finally decided to come out and call the virus an enemy against humanity. Took them a long time though, didn't it? There are news reports that London may go into lockdown very soon, so of course that started a new round of panic buying and panicking in general. People leaving the capital and going all around the country to get away from a potential lockdown. I'm sure it's going to end up being the whole country will go on lockdown, so there's probably no point in trying to leave London right now, but we'll see. The London Underground is also running a reduced service, so certain lines have been stopped altogether and lots of stations have been closed to sort of ration the service and give fewer people the chance to be exposed to the virus in the Underground network. So that's a good move. Took them a while, but finally things are starting to go in the right direction. You know, social distancing, lockdown, quarantine. The next thing will be like France, next thing will be like Hubei, where it's just a complete lockdown, you can't go outside. So I'm waiting for that update. All UK schools will close indefinitely from Friday. So I'm not sure if that means they're gonna have the last day on Friday or it means that Friday there's no school. I'm not sure, I should have probably checked that. But anyway, from Friday, all the schools in the UK will close indefinitely. Rumour has it that it may be until after the summer holiday, but unconfirmed. So exams will all be cancelled as well, delayed until further notice. So that's good news for the students, but bad news for the parents of these students who may now be thinking they need to stay off work. And I'm not sure how bosses are going to take that, you know. Companies not making enough money, you're at home with your kids, they still need to pay you. It's all a bit of a mess. So this virus is going to have real big economic consequences. People are still panic buying at the supermarkets. Why? Apparently the supermarket supply chain is running as normal, but because of people's changed habits, people are like emptying the supermarkets early in the morning, lining up outside, and as soon as the doors open, emptying everything, buying everything, causing what looks like a shortage. But actually the supermarkets have confirmed that there is no shortage. It's just that people have changed their habits so dramatically in such a short time that they haven't been able to catch up. But there's no shortage, supplies are still coming in. Anyway, supermarkets now have taken the move to ration people, so you can't buy more than 3 of any item in the supermarket, which is good. And that'll stop scenes of people with mountains of toilet roll and mountains of hand sanitizer and stuff like that, so that's a good thing. The UK said they're going to increase the amount of tests per day, which is great. I think they should be testing everyone. I don't think this criteria of only testing the people who with obvious symptoms, I don't think that's the best criteria. They should be testing everyone, because asymptomatic cases, are we forgetting about that? People have asymptomatic cases where you don't show it. You don't show that you're infected, but you are still able to infect other people. So everyone should be getting tested. It's not an efficient process to just wait for people with severe cases to test them. You need to test everyone and get those people who are asymptomatic into quarantine so that they can stop infecting people without even realizing it. It's not their fault, right? But they don't know if you don't test them. EU countries are going into full lockdown, so right now you can't enter the EU. But there is a problem because a lot of countries are individually making their own lockdown laws, such as France and Spain and certain other countries who are making barriers within the EU, which goes against the EU principles of freedom of movement. That's something that they're looking to get rid of, but these countries now, they want to contain the infections. So France and Spain, they've gone into complete lockdown. You can't be outside on the streets unless you are going to the supermarkets or going to the hospital or walking your dog. That's one of the criteria. Walking your dog is okay. I've been seeing something in the news that's being talked about more and more about how other countries need to learn from Italy's example of locking down. And I keep thinking, didn't China already do that? Like, Wuhan was locked down back in January and the rest of China had their individual lockdowns in different cities and provinces since like early February. I've been in lockdown kind of since the end of January. Why are people saying to learn from Italy's example? Italy's doing what China already did like a couple months ago. I don't understand why they're saying learn from Italy. Italy is doing what everyone else is doing, which is one step. We know that step 10 works, but we're still going to try step 1 again. Let's just see if it works. Step 2, step 3, and then we're going to go all the way to 10 when everyone's infected and everything's overloaded. You know, I keep thinking it's like as if you're on one of those cruise ships right now, and then you hit an iceberg, and everyone knows what happened to the Titanic, right? But it's like you're on a cruise ship, you hit an iceberg, and then you just sit there and wait. Let's just see what happens. Maybe the ship won't sink. Let's just wait. That's the only thing that I can compare it to in my head. It's like you know what's gonna happen, but you're still doing all the steps, 1, 2, 3. You know the ship will sink, but you're still waiting until it's actually sinking to then say, okay, everyone off the ship, off the ship. Why not just get everyone off the ship before you need to panic, right? That's what I keep thinking about with the EU and the rest of the world. Like, why don't you just go into lockdown straight away? Because you know that that's going to be what you end up doing, but by that time your systems are already overloaded and there's too many people infected. Why don't we just do it earlier? I don't understand. Why can't we learn from other people's mistakes? A man in Tennessee is under fire because he was hoarding hand sanitizers. He had 18,000 bottles, I think it was, and he was selling them from between $9 to $80 on Amazon. And then Amazon was like, hey, wait a minute. No, you can't do that. So then he ended up with a mountain of hand sanitizer that he had to get rid of. So he decided that he's gonna donate it now. How do you feel about that, profiting off the crisis? I'm not sure how I feel about it because I don't know, it's like supply and demand, isn't it? Why is he the only one with hand sanitizer? Why could he sell it from between $9 to $80? Why didn't the rest of the country have enough hand sanitizers? That the only place to buy it is from one guy selling it at a rip-off price. I don't understand. Supply and demand. Should he... Morally, yeah, I think it's wrong. Legally, is it wrong? I don't know. Because if you think about what pharmaceutical companies do with medicines, I don't know. But then again, pharmaceutical companies, they do all this research to find the cures for medicine and they don't get any of the reward, do they? There was something, I'll put this picture on the screen. It's like, I don't know if it's really what she said, but it's just an example. Pharmaceutical companies, the scientists, they are doing all this research to find cures for diseases and stuff like that. And they don't get very high salaries. In comparison, footballers get millions of pounds or dollars per month. But when they want to sell the medicine at a high price, people say, hey, you can't sell the medicine at a high price. They've done years of research on how to save lives. You know, they're gonna get a couple €1,000 a month. But the footballer who does nothing, just entertains people, gets millions. it's a bit unfair. So I don't know how I feel about people charging a lot and making money from cures and vaccines and making money out of a crisis. That's what big companies do. Why can't individuals do it? I don't know. It's a difficult one. I feel like, yes, he's wrong, but then when I look at other things, like companies make money from war, so is he so wrong? I don't know. If you're in the US, let me know in the comments what's going on with the guns, because I'm seeing that guns and people registering to buy guns, it's just as bad as the toilet paper. Apparently people are trying to buy up all the guns and people are queuing up to register to have a gun and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what exactly people are thinking is going to happen in the US, but if there's lots of guns involved, it sounds a little scary to me. Guns don't protect you from the virus, so what exactly are the guns protecting you from? It's, you know, it's a little bit scary. Sticking with the US may give every citizen $1,000 to help ease with the crisis, which is great news, because right now I think everyone in the world is going to need a bit of help. I mean, I'm just looking at the pound. The pound has gone down to the lowest level I've ever seen it. I'm not sure if it's the lowest level ever, but lowest I've ever seen it. The same thing is happening with stock markets, going down to like record lows and stuff like that. So right now, jobs, companies, and individuals, you know, everyone needs a bit of help. I'm not sure how far $1,000 is gonna go right now. Let's just see if that's gonna be a monthly thing or a one-off thing, or let's just see how long this crisis goes on for. But yeah, it's gonna be real tough for a lot of people. Let me know if you've been affected by this financially. LA on lockdown, San Francisco on lockdown. Different parts of the US are going into lockdown right now. Eventually, I think the whole country will be on lockdown, but we'll see. That might be really difficult in the US, I'm not sure. I just don't think that they can do the same thing like they've done in China. I don't think people are generally so obedient, you know, the government says, hey, do this, and everyone just does it. So I'm not sure how it's gonna work in the US, but I think they need to eventually go into full-on lockdown to contain the virus. Final few little bits. Cuba has accepted a British cruise ship called the Braemar, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Why are people still on cruise ships? Why? Anyway, they've been accepted and they're gonna come off the cruise ship and go into Cuba. So there are people on there who have tested positive already, apparently. So that's gonna add to Cuba's cases. Hopefully they've got the right kind of containment and protective gear so the doctors don't go and take it and infect the rest of Cuba. So we'll see what happens there, but cruise ships, don't go on them right now. Cancel your cruise, just don't go on a cruise ship right now. It's the worst possible time. Iran is going to pardon 10,000 of those prisoners that were released. I think eventually they'll probably have to pardon all of them because, like I said yesterday, I don't know how they're gonna get them back. You let the prisoners out, like what reasons do they have to go back to prison? Like how are you gonna find them? Where have they gone? Are they all tracked? Pardon them all. If you let them out, just pardon them all. Just forget about it. And the final thing I want to talk about is lockdown. How are you going to cope with lockdown? I've seen a lot of videos of people who are going absolutely crazy and it's only been like a few days of lockdown. So people are being locked down potentially with people that they didn't usually spend a lot of time with, whether it's housemates, family members, husband and wife, who don't usually spend so much time together, children, all being locked down together. And I think this is going to cause a lot of new dynamics. In China, in some provinces, as soon as the lockdowns were lifted, the divorce center had massive lines of people going there to get divorced. So I'm not sure how that's going to work in the rest of the world, but either people will be more in love with each other or people are just going to hate each other even more. Let's just see what happens. Alright, that's all for today. I think I've talked about too many things. I need to cut these videos down. They're getting too long. Alright, see you tomorrow. Stay safe and don't get the virus. I know, easier said than done. Yeah, don't get the virus. I just mean don't go out and try and get the virus. Don't go to pubs, bars, take the subway, hug your friends, kiss everybody, shake hands with everyone. You know, just that stuff. Try not to get infected. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.